Today, I'm excited to tell you about a new feature on PodTask. It's our Questionnaires feature, where you can, on the fly, send out a questionnaire to a guest, or you can automate the notification to the guest where they will get the questionnaire. It will contain a link that they will click, which will open up a form in PodTask where they can fill out any question that you set up in the questionnaire itself. The questionnaire can be customized from one of our best practice questionnaires, or it could be a fully configured questionnaire that you set up from scratch. Now, the cool thing is you won't have to copy and paste any of the responses from the guest. You can set it up basically where their responses on a field by field basis get mapped into a corresponding field on the guest record, whether that's a native field or even a custom field. Their responses can go right into PodTask, so you won't have to, like I said, copy or paste anything. So without further ado, let's check it out. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. This is my test environment, so it is a little bit slow. I will caveat with that, but it's a brand new account on PodTask, and you have to have either the featured subscription or enterprise subscription to be able to gain access to the questionnaires feature. But once you're in here, and I've got my podcast record already set up, but you go in here and you can do questionnaires and then new questionnaire. Now, if I wanted to set one up from scratch, this is where I would do it. I would just start typing in what my questionnaire name is going to be, the podcast that it's related to, and also the form message. This is shown at the top of the questionnaire, like an informational message to the guest. I'm going to go over here to questionnaire list, because this is where I'm going to have access to the best practice questionnaires to be able to choose from to apply to my account. So I don't have to build one from scratch if I didn't want to. Now, the cool thing is, notice that I can add and customize. So this gives you the ability to use the best practice questionnaire, but then customize it from there. If you don't like some of the questions, you want to add new questions, you can go ahead and do so. Now, you're going to want the ability to preview this, so you can go ahead and click preview. Now, before we get into that, I will say we are planning to add more best practice questionnaires in here. Right now, we have one to offer, which is the standard guest information questionnaire. So if I'm going to click preview, it's going to open up in a new tab. I can see my guest information message up here. And then these are all of my fields that I've set up in the questionnaire. You can have a basic text field. It can be rich text where, the guest will be able to highlight things. Often this is used for copying and pasting their bio from some other website, for example. They can attach a headshot, a logo, put their social media information here, as well as if you want to ask them any preferred information about interview dates and so on and so forth. And then they submit this. And like I said, the response will be saved right to their guest record. Now I'm going to go ahead and click add here. And so that is now taking the best practice questionnaire and adding it to my podcast record. So notice that I've associated this questionnaire with my podcast called The Change. If you have an account that gives you the ability to manage multiple podcasts, you can have and maintain this on a podcast by podcast basis. But you can see here, I've got my questionnaire added now to my account. I can click view edit to see the information that is in here. Like I said, this form message, this is what shows at the top of the form that they'll see. And you can deactivate this if you wanted to. Again, you can preview it from here. And then over on the questions tab, these are the questions, the order in which they're going to be prompted on the form, the data type, so on and so forth. This right here shows where on the guest record the response is going to be mapped to. Now, you can have responses saved right into the guest record. If the guest is set up as a featured guest on an episode, you can have a particular answer saved right into the episode record as well. And like I said, custom fields also. You can make any of these questions required, and we're pretty excited about it. Like I said, you can send these out manually, but through our automated workflow feature, you'll be able to also set up an automated notification and include the questionnaire in there. So for example, let's say you want this questionnaire to be sent out maybe a week after you book the guest. You can set that up and it will automatically send out the email with the questionnaire a week after you book the guest. So check it out. Super excited about it. If you haven't already seen the video on our workflow feature, check that out as well. And thanks for joining. If you have any questions, feel free to reach me, Adam Baru, on PodTask. Thank you so much.